welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks. Sad, falling out of the Eagles getting their ass smacked by the Cowboys. Did not see that coming.
Yeah, that was being generous. That was an embarrassment of a game.
It's I really was looking forward to having a nice week of sports talk and sports radio and watching ESPN and NFL Network, and I don't even want to look at anything on TV because it's sad because the Eagles fucking suck.
Yeah, when you're on national TV and you get embarrassed by your division rival and a team we all hate, since birth, it's going to make the whole week just terrible. So really hoping that, the Phillies, find a way to get in the playoffs. Obviously, they start a huge series today when we record this Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And we're currently losing to the Braves. So nothing is going Philadelphia sports way.
No.
Which just makes the fact that the Eagles getting embarrassed by the Cowboys hurt even more. So I don't know. Obviously, I think we have a lot of hatred and venom to get out of our systems.
Sure.
I don't even know where you want to start. I know I tend to get, ahead of myself and just go on my rants when I let my emotions speak. So obviously I see that happening very soon. So I'm going to let you start this one off before I just rip in and go off on one of my rants. Cause they're there and bubbling.
I'll keep mine short and sweet. They came at, I really do believe, you can't look at the stat line because the stat line is a lie. Like the fact that we only lost by 20 is also a lie. Like we should have lost by 40.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. This game was over at halftime.
Yeah, and Hurts ended up with 20 fantasy points and more passing yards than Dak. That's a lie. Those are all garbage time numbers. He did not have a good game at all.
No, very bad.
My biggest takeaways are on Hurts. What I've been saying every week about I'm concerned about his arm, I'm concerned about his arm strength, I'm concerned about his velocity of his throws were so prevalent last night. The pass to Rager in the end zone would have been a touchdown if he just put more touch on the ball, but it was an interception. Yep. When they were in at their own goal line, he passed to Ertz, who was wide open, and he threw him to the wrong side, and Ertz almost went off his hands, almost went into an interception for pick six that's 5 yards away from the goal line.
Yep.
Did the same thing to Goddard, missed him on a comeback. He's just going out it was like an out route, out for 5, coming right back. As soon as he turns around, you're supposed to hit him right in the chest. Why is it all the way to the side of the player? It should be right in front of him so he doesn't have to, extend himself and then lose yards because he's, has no time to react. So, and his extending of the play is not, I swear all he does is just run as far as he can to the sideline until he's about to go out of bounds. And then he's like, all right, I got to get rid of it or I'm going to lose 20 yards. So he just chucks it. And I don't know. I really, when Hurts was coming out of college, I was rooting for him. I thought he has the mentality to be a good leader, a good quarterback, but it's just the mechanics I thought he needed to work on. And granted, this is the second year, so there's look, Josh Allen was able to improve immensely in his, first, second, third years. I'm not saying Jalen can't fix his problems, and he's clearly strong. If you look at him, he's built very well. So I'm wondering if it's just a mechanics thing, he just can't, because there's been skinny quarterbacks who can fucking throw cannons. It's all about mechanics. So I'm not ready to say he's going to be I don't know, second round QB can be a bust, but I'm not ready to say he's going to be disastrous, but he definitely had a bad game and he knows it. I think his quote was something like, I played like feces he said something about poop. He said something about, I played like poop.
Away.
Yeah. And you don't look at it, you flush it away. I was like, some people probably look at the poop before they flush it, but
look at you. You're proudly looking down, smiling to check in on your status. Do you give yourself a pat on the back when it impresses you?
You got to see what the damage is.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so Jalen was bad, and then the defense, for as much as I was gassing them up and thinking that they were,
terrible.
All that they were rough. I'm starting to get worried about Fletch because now this game he was disappeared. He's supposed to be this, monster run stopper, and I don't know where he was. He was on the field, but he was invisible. So that's a little concerning. Hargrave, on the other hand, has been a monster.
Yeah, he's probably the only positive.
He's already on like an all-pro pace, which is phenomenal. So that's great.
Yeah, he's the only positive I could take from that entire game was how dominant he was, and he continues to be.
It is clear as day that it's like Jim Schwartz's defense all over again. You're running a scheme where you're reliant on having good linebackers. And once again, our linebackers are not good. And I know people love the Singletary story or the Singleton story. He's not a good player. He's a solid linebacker. He's not a 17-game starting linebacker. I'm sorry. And Eric Wilson, I thought was going to come in and be that,
He stinks. He sucks.
He's not good.
There's only one way to put it. He stinks.
Horrible in coverage. I never know where he is on the field. He's always blowing coverages. And the whole point of Gannon's defense is they're like the Saints. They play a deep cover defense where they don't let anything over the top. What happened? CeeDee Lamb caught a 40-yard bomb over the top. Like, what? Why is this happening? So bad game all around. And then Sirianni, I don't want to get into Sirianni, but his play calling was atrocious.
Yeah, the
fact that Miles Sanders got 2 running touches and he had 37 yards on 2 carries. You don't think maybe you should feed that guy? You don't think maybe
just run the ball?
He was doing something right. I heard he was trying to like keep up with the Cowboys offense, so he wanted to go for big plays, but I didn't see any big plays. I just saw stupid slant routes.
No, I saw a quarterback that doesn't have the arm to make big plays. That's worrisome.
And I know I said I was going to keep this short, and it has not been short, so I don't know.
Oh, it's listen, it's the emotions. This is a bad. This is a bad loss. Let it all out, buddy. Let him out. I'm here for you. Get it off your chest because you deserve it. This was a disgusting performance.
I covered everything but the last part, and here's the thing. I was saying after the game against the Falcons, I was like, I'm excited, but I'm not going to get, I'm going to pump the brakes. I'm not going to get too hyped because I know this team is still like finding its way. People on Philly's radio this morning were losing their fucking shit, and it's game 3. I'm mad. You're mad. Let's calm down because here's the thing. Our offensive coordinator, our defensive coordinator, and our head coach are all under 40 years old. They've never held these positions. Like, these are new positions for them. They are learning how to play call. They are learning how to be the head of their areas. So there's going to be games like this where they're just abysmal and they just look like they've been outcoached because they were. And I like Sirianni's mentality of like family and like, getting all the players to be bonded and like, playing for each other. The dog mentality, whatever you want to call it. I like that idea. It only really works if you're winning,
Well, yeah, because now you look like a clown for all the shenanigans and all the theoretics you were pulling throughout the week.
I really do think that a factor people aren't considering is that Dallas. I mean, I hate to say Dallas was more prepared, but they were just more prepared, and you could tell there was something. I could tell after the first quarter that something was off about the Eagles and something was on about the Cowboys, and that Cowboys were just they wanted that game. Like Dak coming back first time at the stadium after his ankle injury, after what was 300 some days, he was ready. He was juiced up. He was emotional. The team was ready to play. They were just ready, and the Eagles clearly weren't. And I don't know what's going on with all these penalties, but they need to work on discipline. And that's
brutal.
That's my spiel. I'm sweating.
Yeah, I'm going to have to echo everything you said. Obviously, anything that has to do with a negative reaction to that game, I'm going to echo the same. But, I mean, my take, obviously, we'll start first with Hurts. I kind of got this mentality, in the first couple of games, I liked seeing his pocket presence. He wasn't making mistakes. He wasn't turning the ball over. He was playing it very safe, which, is fine. But I think everyone knew going into this game, the Cowboys were going to put up some points, especially with your defense playing the way it's been. The Cowboys were going to put up points, and Jalen Hurts was going to have to respond. He was going to have to throw it in tight windows. He was going to have to push it downfield. He was going to have to take chances. And he didn't. I don't understand what the play calling was because it looked like he had one route or one option every play. He had one route to look at. He would stare them down. Wasn't there. He would just hold on the ball, and things usually blow up on his face.
Yep.
I worry about the theme with his arm. Man, I think he underthrew pretty much everyone. He was behind nearly every receiver he threw the ball. I didn't see him lead one guy. I
It
didn't
was
see
really
him
bad.
lead one guy. Did you see him throw the ball a yard in front of anyone to hit him in stride?
There was one throw to Quez Watkins that was really nice, and that was it.
And that goes back to I had these concerns coming out and I bought in. I wanted to give Hurts a chance. Obviously, things worked out, the way it worked out with Wentz, you were going to have to give this guy a chance. But the concerns I originally thought when he was coming out are still popping up. I don't think he's got a strong arm. It goes back to when he rolls out of the pocket. What that reminds me of is two smaller quarterbacks like Hurts. That's Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. When they roll out of the pocket, to get away from those big offense line and defense line in front of them to kind of give them the field, they have the arm speed and the cannon to put a little zip on the ball or throw it from 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Where Hurts doesn't have that, man. He can't get it into small windows because he doesn't have that zip. His deep ball is very weak.
No velocity at all. I don't understand.
You're underthrowing everyone. Every single ball he was throwing last night was going to the back shoulder. And some of the stuff he was doing was so telegraphed. That interception, I know Devontae Smith fell down, but dude, Trevon Diggs had to jump on that ball immediately. He saw you staring Devontae Smith down. He knew you were only looking that one way. And as soon as you released it, he was already jumping the ball. Even if Devontae Smith doesn't fall down, that's still a pick. He was jumped that ball so quick. That worries me because, sure, the guy, didn't turn the ball over and, didn't make bad mistakes, but you're going to have to make some plays. And I worry about him making plays because he doesn't have that arm talent. And it's a problem because he doesn't give that electricity in the run game either. He's not like Lamar or Russell who's going to, make the defense pay for it if they play back in coverage. He had a couple nice runs and he tucked it when he needed to, but he hasn't shown me anything on his legs to rely on that.
I don't think he's as fast as he thinks he is.
I don't think so. I think he's limited athletically. He doesn't look quick or fast in the open field when he runs, and his arm is very lacking. And these are stuff that, sure, you're going to work on mechanics and stuff, but you know what? Yeah, I don't think your arm's going to get that much stronger. You brought up Josh Allen, and he worked on his accuracy, but Josh Allen could overthrow everyone he was throwing to. Sure. I don't think Jalen Hurts can reach him. Man, that at first interception, Jalen Reagor, I think when the ball was released from his hand, if you stop Reagor where he was when the ball was released from Hurts' hand, I don't even think he would have reached Reagor right then, let alone hit the guy in stride. I don't even think he was going to throw it to him from where he was when the ball was out of his hand. And that was just an easy pick because the corner's a step behind, and he has a perfect break on the ball now because it's underthrown by 5 yards.
I hope that if nothing else, they look at this and Sirianni and the quarterback coaches and Flacco and whoever else is there is all pointing this out to Hurts and saying, look, you got to get more touch on this ball. You have to release it sooner. You got to throw it fast.
But is that arm talent? Is he going to get a stronger arm? The zip is just not there, man. What about the ball? I thought it went long towards the end of the game where Devontae Smith got smacked by the safety coming over. Oh, yeah. Dude, that ball's got to be on a rope. You got to get that on a rope so the safety doesn't come over and kill your wide receiver.
I don't know how that wasn't unnecessary roughness when he got helmet.
Yeah, but you know what? You could say he's playing the ball because he's throwing ducks out there that are just lofting in the air, waiting to land once the safety gets over there. That thing needs to be on a rope so your dude doesn't get crushed. If you lob it in the air like that, he's just going to get destroyed.
I feel like every time I see one of his throws, it's like a replay in slow motion.
I don't think I've seen him lead a guy yet, and that's my biggest concern because I've seen him throw behind plenty of different players. He's short-armed a lot of guys. He did it again against Dallas. And I just, and now the line's banged up against Seumalo's going to be out for the year. Herbig stinks. We all knew that going into.
Seumalo's out for the year?
Yeah, Liz Frank tear was announced earlier. So you saw that. That wasn't good. I don't want to kill Landon Dickerson, but he looked terrible. He got destroyed. He shouldn't be out there. The guy is coming off an injury in college, hasn't played in training camp.
Yeah, I'm not
giving up the guy
him for not even having snaps in training camp yet.
But this is the problem because this is what you're going to deal with now. Now you're going to have Landon Dickerson, who shouldn't be out there yet. He could be a good player. I'm not giving up on him. But then there's Nate Herbig, who we know stinks. This blocking isn't going to improve. The not running doesn't make any sense to me. Your running backs averaging 13.5 yards per carry, and you're going to run them twice. My God, the guy across the field from you, Mike McCarthy's known to not run the ball, and he'll run the ball much more than twice just for the sake of doing it. Yeah. We used to bitch and moan and cry and yell that Andy Reid would never run the ball. He sure as hell wasn't running the ball twice. He was doing it more than that just to have some balance. What's the point of running play action when they know you're not going to run the ball? It was, when your quarterback has the same amount of interceptions as your lead running back does rushing attempts, that's just not balanced. That's not going to work. I don't care that you were down in the game. You were in that game longer than you should have been because you got completely outclassed from the beginning of the game to the end. Yeah, but they got lucky with that touchdown and the stop on the 1 yard line. The defense came up big there. But after that, man, that game got ugly out of hand real fast.
It's such a waste of talent. Like you have Miles Sanders, Gainwell, who's looked good, Boston Scott, who's a nice like pass catching back, and you have Jordan Howard on your practice squad who you can run up the middle. You have 4 good running backs, and you don't even fucking run the ball. I just don't understand. Every year with this Eagles team, maybe Laurie is or Howie is like, hey, we only throw the ball around here. We don't run it. Like I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why they can't say, hey, look, we have a top 15 running back in Miles Sanders, but we're not going to give him the fucking ball. Like
it doesn't make sense because that was the only thing you were like, help your quarterback out. He's clearly struggling. Then the other thing, I mean, bring up
Howie. That would be such a good like. That's what I thought we were getting. I thought we were going to get a run-first offense with Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders. That would be so much better than whatever this shit is that they're doing now.
No, and the play calling has been so boring. And something just seems off. The penalties have been ridiculous, but so many ineligible men downfield penalties. And you're looking at it and you're like, discipline. But it's almost not discipline. It's almost like Hurts is just not reading the play well. Like, dude, you need to get that ball out of your hand. Like your linemen are going downfield to block. And it just keeps happening. I think we had like 3 of them last game. And each time you look at the replay, you're like, this just looks like the ball should be out now. And Hurts just takes his time. He's not hitting his first read. That comes back to the no zip, man. If you don't have confidence in getting the ball out quick and into those tight windows, you're going to hold the ball longer and you're going to end up scrambling and running out of bounds. Or you're ending up going to, hold the ball and then the play's going to develop and you're going to get called for a penalty because you got linemen downfield. Yeah. And that's just more, man, where's the disconnect between the play calling and what Hurts is trying to execute out there? Because they don't look like they're on the same page.
No, and of all the opponents to play to get this corrected, the Chiefs are the last team you want to face.
Oh, the Chiefs are going to come in pissed off. I mean, Andy didn't need any reason to run the score up on us returning to Philly, but coming off 2 losses, they're going to be pretty mad. This is going to get ugly.
Yeah.
And you know what? So obviously, the offense stunk, but the defense stunk too. They were solid for a couple plays when they stopped them on the goal line. They were letting them march up and down the field easy.
Yeah.
Pretty much all game. Like,
more many negative plays by the Cowboys.
No, and you know it's scary because there's a theme ever since Brandon Graham got hurt from the second half of the Niners game to this complete Cowboys game. This defense stinks. It's nowhere near the same. We don't get any pressure. Our only 2 defenders are. You called out Cox, but I'm not gonna. Cox wasn't the worst player out there. I think he's helping set up things for Hargrave too because he's obviously the guy they're going after. But Hargrave's having a career game. Cox is still a solid player. Why can't we get any edge rush? Why can't we get any edge pressure when we're dominating in the interior?
I saw Barnett doing some stuff.
No, you saw Barnett get penalties. I'm done with him. He
just
gets penalties. I'm guaranteed more penalties from this clown than tackles or sacks in any given game. I'm so done with him.
He has such an obvious offsides, and he just whatever.
Yeah, he gives you penalties all the time. Like the other thing was with this defense is they're not really going to get better. There's a whole bunch of veterans. They all stink though. Kerrigan, haven't seen him do a damn thing. Yeah. Eric Wilson's terrible. Steve Nelson, haven't seen him do a damn thing either. And that comes on Howie, man. We know Howie can't draft. But Howie was at least better at bringing in these free agent veterans, and they all stink. This whole defense isn't very young. You got a lot of old players and are underperforming.
Nelson had one or 2 plays where he got caught in bad coverage, and then Slay. The only issue I saw with Slay is there in the one end zone touchdown. There was the whole defense looked confused. And he was the closest guy to the ball who got the ball. So I don't know if that was actually his fault, but
it's the same thing we can criticize the offense about with Sirianni. They look disconnected. They don't look like they're on the same page. What about the defense, man? How many times are you going to let Dustin Schultz just run wide open?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Is this
wide open?
This is a new system, new coaches, new players. There's going to be growing pains. It just was.
But these are veteran guys making mistakes. Listen, it's one thing to get beaten, but you're just making stupid plays. They have so many penalties on both sides of the ball.
Right, but these are correctable things, not
You sure as hell hope so, but the only consistency I've seen from week 1 to week 3 is penalties. You got 35 penalties through 3 games. It's a franchise record. That is just astronomical.
It's bad.
I said that after the week 1, even though they won the game. I was like, how many points do you think they could have put up if they weren't going backwards 5 yards every false start they had? Yeah,
what was it 13 penalties and like almost 100 yards?
Yeah, man. And they had 3 declined. Like, this is, and considering you're blown out, like you gave up 42 points. Yeah, I'd like to see at least these holding penalties or something slow the Cowboys down.
Yeah.
It's ugly. The defense was very disappointing. They got run all over again. That run defense stinks.
Yeah,
and it was Zeke, it was Pollard, it was whatever you want. Yeah, Singleton. I mean, he's in on every play, but he misses so many tackles.
It's bad when you have Anthony Harris.
Oh, he stinks. Stinks.
No,
disappointed with. What has he done? Missed tackles, missed interceptions. He doesn't make plays.
Well, you let me get to my point. He had 14 tackles yesterday. You know why? Because our linebackers suck, and they have to put him in the box to make tackles on running backs.
Listen, I saw him missing some tackles, missing plays. I'm very disappointed by all the veteran additions.
I think Harris has been fine. I don't know what you're saying.
They gave up 42 points. You can't say anyone is fine on that defense. Hargrave's the only one that gets a pass. Everyone else stinks.
Well, there was a pick 6, so not 42, but.
All right, fine. Then
anyway, did you vent your Eagles? I'm done with talking about the Eagles for now. So
it's disappointing. There's just so many things wrong with this team, and you lost. But this comes back to, you lost another offensive lineman for the season, so these injuries are going to start kicking in as they always do. Your team's not very young. Like, sure, your quarterback's young, your skill player's young. That defense isn't very young. I would have expected them to play a little bit better in the first couple weeks. Than how they played.
No, I think they played well the first 2 weeks. They just got run over by the Cowboys, who have a very good. The Cowboys have a very good offense. Like, let's not correct ourselves.
No, I'll correct that. Ever since Graham's gotten hurt, there's been a noticeable night and day difference.
Sure, I'll agree with that.
And that is concerning because he's not coming back.
Right. I'll agree with that. But like, the Cowboys have a top 5 offense. Let's not kid ourselves.
Sure.
And so do the Chiefs.
Yeah. So because they gave up almost 40 points, I should give them a pass because they have a top 5 offense? No, come on. The Chargers don't have a great defense. I think the Cowboys scored, 20 points against them?
The Bucks gave up 34 points. I thought you said they had a great defense. It happens. It's early. I'm upset. I'm mad at how they played, how they coached, but it's correctable. It's early. If they're doing this week 10, then I'll be pissed. But it's too hard. It's too soon to tell. I will say, I think after this game, though, I would say Cowboys are probably now favorites for that division. I think the Giants are going to be bottom, and then I think Eagles and Washington will be fighting for second, third. But
there wasn't really much to take back from this game to be positive about. Like, there really wasn't.
There was nothing to take that was positive, but it's all learning. Like these are all, like, Hurts he's only played like 7 games.
Oh yeah, listen, learning. I'm not giving up on him. I'm still down to see him play, start the rest of the year. But let's be honest, he's not impressed. The Niners game wasn't really that great either. You didn't score, you scored 11 points. You had one big play with Watkins, and that was about it for offense. And then this game, he just got completely exposed. That defense was too much from him. And the Cowboys aren't a very good defense. Let's be honest. I expected us to put some points up against that Dallas defense that is stunk, and then we struggled mightily with that. It's disappointing. And you know what's even worse is we're now into a murderer's row of our schedule. You're gonna have a pissed off Chiefs team coming here. Then you're gonna
be like 1-6.
Yeah, and you know what? The wheels are really gonna fall off quick if you start 1-6.
All right. Elsewhere around the league,
tough. I'm really pissed off. Whole week is ruined. National TV.
Your whole October is going to be ruined based off the schedule. So
yeah, that's what's where, if you beat the Cowboys, you could have dropped the next 3, but you couldn't even kept it respectable. You got embarrassed.
Yeah. So last Thursday, Panthers smacked the Texans. Was much of a game. And then on Sunday, surprise, the Chargers beat the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are 1-2. Can't tell you last time that. Oh, you know what? I can tell you last time that's happened. They haven't had a losing record at any point in the season since 2015. So,
yeah, the Chiefs. I was very surprised they dropped that game. The Chiefs defense got to figure it out, man.
Their defense is not very good right now.
No, their defense is a big problem because, you can't just rely on Patrick Mahomes just to go score at will. Yeah. The Chargers defense impressed me a lot too. Joey Bosa made a big difference. He was out there making plays.
Bosa brothers are having great seasons. So
Yeah, the Chargers put up a good performance. I mean, good win for them. Very good win. They deserved it. They played a very strong game, and that defense needs to prove for Kansas City to go anywhere.
Yeah. Cardinals move on to 3-0, take care of the Jaguars, and Trevor Lawrence continues to throw a historic number of interceptions. The Browns beat down on the Bears.
That was ugly. That was an ugly game.
And this is one of the reasons why I have a mentality of you let a quarterback sit and watch for either a half a season or a whole season and learn. Because, I mean, obviously Fields was kind of thrown in with injuries, but Fields he was sacked 9 times and he had 68 passing yards. And the Bears finished with -1 passing yards because of how much sack yardage there was.
Yeah,
what kind of teaching moment is that for a rookie quarterback when you're just getting your shit smacked and you can't even process your reads, look down the field or make a play because you have a lineman in your face all game. Like you can't learn from that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean,
if anything, he was going to get hurt. And then what if he tore his ACL on that or something even worse? That's why I think it's best to let quarterbacks sit for a bit if they're.
I mean, he was gun po about keeping Dalton as the starter. I don't understand if that's your mentality. Why they didn't just put Foles out there? Foles still on the roster.
Apparently he said all 3 are in play for starting this week. So.
At that point, you're just embarrassing yourself. You have no idea what to do.
This is classic Nagy. This is what Nagy's been doing since he got to the Bears.
It's
carousel.
It's horrific. I mean, they continue to make bad quarterback decisions. They brought in Dalton, which was a bad move. You know exactly what Dalton was, and then
he's average. He's a solid starter. He'll give you some wins, but he's not like going to excite you.
He had no. Obviously, he wanted to start Dalton to start the year like that. He made that very clear, and then Dalton obviously got hurt, and that's why Fields played. But his game plan, it looked like he was set on Dalton to start because he did nothing to help Fields out, nothing to change the game plan into something that he could actually succeed in. And he just got destroyed. There was no adjustment, just bad.
All right. Moving on, we had the Bills took care of business over Washington, which I thought Washington's defense was going to be better this year, and they have
most overhyped thing going into the season is the Washington defense.
I mean, we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the year. Carson had a bad game. Titans beat up on the Colts. I mean, they forced them to play with 2 bad ankles, so I don't know what they were thinking, but
it's true. Whatever. We need the Colts to win some more because, man, if they were looking at a top 10 pick, I think they will sit Wentz in like week 12 or 10 or whatever.
I sure hope not.
Yeah, but we need them to pull out a couple victories here to at least compete for the wild card.
Yeah. Saints beat the Patriots. Rookie quarterbacks have been terrible this year. They are 1-10. Only Mac Jones has won a game so far. So
yeah, it's
1-10 with like 30 interceptions. Like it's bad compared to last year, which was phenomenal. Now this year is just bad.
I mean, the Saints have a very good defense. Mac Jones had his welcome to the NFL game. It's tough. That was a tough matchup for him going into it. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of what I expect from the Patriots. They're going to win some, they're going to lose some. They don't have much on offense. Their defense is going to have to carry them, and they ran into a good defense.
The Falcons beat the Giants. I believe that was on another last-second field goal. So the Giants stay losing by field goals.
Giants are terrible.
Yeah, they're not good. Bengals beat the Steelers, and we said that this was going to be a close game. But here's the thing with the Steelers is like I was talking to Nick about this. Like, you give them a good starting quarterback, they'll be a top 5 team.
Yeah,
like Big Ben is literally holding them back. He looks like he just came out of the retirement home.
Yeah, no, he looks horrible. Bad. He is holding bad. Their offense line isn't very good, but there were times where he had time and he still couldn't find anyone downfield or he looks so just lumbersome. He's aging by the second. I'm watching this guy get older.
Every play he ages 10 years.
Like he can't move. I'm not talking about scramble and get outside the pocket. I'm talking he can't move to step up to throw the ball.
I know it's bad. Did you see the one where he rolled out and threw the ball, and as soon as he threw it, he fell down?
Yeah, well, I have something to say for Big Ben, but yeah, don't worry. I saw all the hilarious stuff that he was doing. He's basically a walking meme after this week.
Yeah, Steelers are looking kind of rough right now. Poor Fleury. Ravens beat the Lions on a record-breaking 66-yard field goal by Justin Tucker.
Poor Detroit. That was tough.
I'll give the Lions credit though. They've played well in all of the games that they've lost so far. Like they're showing some heart. So
I don't know if I'd say well, but I say they're fighting. They're definitely fighting. They're definitely fighting.
The team that's not fighting, the New York Jets, they lost 26-0 to the Broncos, who are now 3-0, but all the teams they've played are 0-9. So what does that tell you? I think the Broncos are a solid team, but I don't. You can't take any merit into that 3-0 start. So
yeah, I agree with that. I think their defense is legit. We'll see about that offense. KJ Hamler got carted off. I believe he's done.
They lose receivers every year.
They're so unlucky with that. Yeah, so especially with Teddy, and then you're dropping wide receivers, that could be troublesome for the offense going forward. But the defense will keep them in it.
Yeah. Raiders won in overtime over the Dolphins. They moved to 3-0. Surprised that it was that close of a game, but
I was surprised it was that close, but I was also very impressed with the way they finished. Good teams find a way to win, and that was a good team just finds a way to win. It wasn't prettiest. They had to go to overtime. I mean, it was almost the end of overtime, but you know what? Good teams just find a way to win.
Yeah. Seahawks, another 1-2 team that are looking a little rough. I think they're 1-2, if I'm not mistaken. The Vikings beat them. And the Kirk Cousins looked pretty solid. And Dalvin Cook didn't even play, and they still won. So
I said this last week. I said the Vikings are must-watch TV because they have an elite offense and a terrible defense. Their defense played okay. They only gave it the 17 points to Seattle, but that offense continues to put up points, man. The Jefferson Thielen combo, even little Osborne out of the slot, looks
they got this other receiver now. They just grow receivers out their backyard. I don't know.
Kirk Cousins doing well. Listen, every game's going to be a shootout for them. I'm going to watch every game they have because it's entertaining. But that defense needs to put it together to at least help keep them competitive.
They're like the Cowboys of the NFC North, basically. They're good offense, but not so good defense. But they light the scoreboard. And then the most hyped game of the week was the Buccaneers versus the Rams. Rams came out and took the win. They won by 10. They moved to 3-0. I'm so happy for Matt Stafford. He's on an MVP tear right now.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable in the system. It was good to see Desean Jackson, after he stole money from the Eagles for 2 years, actually do something. And I just mean that in the meanest way possible. I hate seeing him succeed now after he stole money from us.
Deshaun. I love Deshaun, so I'm happy to see him doing well.
This last tenure left me a bad taste in my mouth because
you know what? Injured. It's not like he didn't want to play; he just kept getting hurt. You know what I mean? It's not like he's not like Alshon Jeffrey who just was gave up on the team.
Well, I don't know about that. Remember the first year we had him and he got injured and then pushed it off, came back and then was hurt in the first 5 minutes. Man, probably would have been better off.
Give Jackson credit though for being in his mid 30s or whatever he is, and he still is one of the fastest players in the NFL. That's crazy. Yeah. Usually receivers lose their speed by that age, and he's still fucking zooming.
That's true. Now he's in a great system there. I mean, he is the deep threat there.
I'm sure he'll get hurt eventually, but
yeah. Well, Well, now I kind of thought he'd have a good year because he needs the ball out. After he stole money for 2 years, he's going to have to play a little bit to earn his next contract.
Hey, Philly, we're used to people stealing money in Philly. So.
We really are. We really are. Add him to the list.
Sunday night game was a nice game. Packers won by 2 over the Niners. The Niners gave Aaron Rodgers 30 seconds, which is plenty of time for Rodgers to move down the field. And he visually he looks very old in the face. I don't know. The hair's kind of giving me pedophile vibes, but
he looks skinnier.
He looks like he's just not well, but
he
played well. So I mean.
I gotta say, I was kind of impressed with the Niners. They kept it close. I know everyone wants to rip them. Oh, you gave Aaron Rodgers too much time. It was 30 seconds. He had to drive. It was no timeouts. Listen, what do you want to do? What are you going to actually do? They scored the touchdown right at the end. They gave him 30 seconds, no timeouts. That's what you want. It's just the guy somehow managed to do it in 2 passes.
There's probably 3 quarterbacks in the league that could do that in 30 seconds, and it's Brady, Rodgers, and Mahomes.
I mean, you'd like to see your defense put up more of a fight, especially considering Devontae Adams is the one making those catches. It's Devontae Adams, man. Get 10 guys on him.
That's what I want Devontae Smith to be like, but
we'll see. We need a quarterback to get the ball to him, but that was a good game. The Packers pulled out a good win, and I mean, I still think those are 2 good teams. The Niners pressed me. Jimmy G was a little rough in the beginning, but he made the plays he needed to keep it close.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a wrap of week 3 scores. Let's move into the studs and duds. And I think last 2 weeks we've done duds first. So let's flip it. Let's do some studs first.
Oh, well, I was actually thinking about going duds just because it's a dud week after that embarrassing
Well,
performance.
it's your segment. Do whatever you wish.
Yeah, I have to. I go off my mood, and I'm kind of in a depressed, sad, angry mood, so
Fair
I can
enough.
only think duds.
All right.
And mostly because the guy I still have on the tip of my tongue is up first. So, actually, this one surprised a little bit. We got 2 coaches on the duds list. Spice it up positional-wise. So he doesn't really need much of an introduction because he already got one when we started. So I'll get right into it. Mr. Nick Sirianni comes in at that third dud.
Only third.
And you know what? Yeah, because I'll get to it. But man, you got your team. You had the beat down shirt on. You had the dog mentality all week. You were telling the players how important this rivalry is. You got them all juiced up. Maybe you could have spent some time coming up with a better game plan than what you showed up today with, because you ran the ball twice when you're averaging 13 and a half carries with your starting running back, which in itself is inexcusable. Hurts looked like he had no idea what he's doing. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Hurts looked like every play was, look at this route. If it's not there, just do something. He looked like he was running a college offense. And that was never going to work. That offense just doesn't work in the pros. And it definitely doesn't work if you don't have Lamar Jackson to just scramble around and make plays, because Jalen Hurts struggled mightily. They gave him no help. I'm going to kill him for the penalties. The game plan or whatever you could say we can work on. The penalties is inexcusable. We've been doing this since game 1 of the season, and it carries you through. The defense was an embarrassment as well. That falls on the head coach, because it all falls on the head coach. There really isn't much to be proud of or happy with. And you know what? You know what really pissed me off, and what really is going to really turn a lot of Philly fans on him quick? Don't go in your press conference after you get embarrassed on national TV and go suck off Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore. No one asked you what you thought about Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore, so don't go out of the way to go praise them for how great they were in kicking your ass on national TV.
No, I didn't have a problem with that.
I hated everything about it. Don't go gushing. Oh, man, it was an honor to go see Dak in person. He played well. Dude, who gives a shit? You just got embarrassed by this guy. Stop sucking his balls.
I think
no one asked him a question. What did you think about Dak and Kellen Moore? No. That was never brought up. He went out of his way to go do that. I don't care if it's sportsmanship or whatever. When you get embarrassed by the rival of this entire city, I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. Dak played phenomenal, and Kellen Moore coached a good game.
I knew that just watching the game. I didn't need my coach to come off and suck him off on the national press conference.
And he wasn't. I heard that all this morning.
Joe, you know what?
Radio,
you know what?
Losing their mind. It's not.
You know, when you come up with a shitty game plan, and get blown out by your rival on national TV, these are things I can pick on you for, because you should just maintain face. Pull a Belichick or Reed. Oh, we just got to get better. Just get better. Keep it short and sweet. You got destroyed. Don't get cute and start, spewing great stuff about the other team that destroyed.
I'd rather he talk and say what he's on his mind than just do what Belichick does and grunt. Do you think Belichick is going to go talk about how great the other team's player and offense coordinator is? No, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I couldn't care less.
It goes back because you know what? It goes back to making me think he's got this college football mindset. He's a rah hoorah guy.
Rookie coach.
Stop doing these things for me to pick on you for. You're making it pretty easy. Listen, you say what you want. I didn't like it, but I didn't like what the game plan was.
You don't have to like it, but I mean, he was just showing sportsmanship. Everyone is all like, oh, he was sucking. He was all honored to see that. He never said he was honored. He just said, wow, Dak played really well, something along those lines. And that's what it was true. Why are people upset about that?
Because no one asked him the question. He went out of the way. We didn't need to hear that. We're all pissed off. I'd like to see you.
No, somebody asked him about the game, and he said, first of all, hats off to Cowboys who played well, which every coach does. I don't.
You're right.
There's no.
You're
problem
right.
with that.
They don't then continue it and say, "Way to go, Dak! I'm so impressed by being in your presence. Kellen Moore is a genius. Oh, great stuff. Oh my God, get a break.
Move on.
Moving on. God, I hate Sirianni. I could go on for another hour. About how bad he was. You're right. But somehow I didn't even make him the worst coach in this duds list. I don't normally put coaches on, and I went two coaches on there that both deserved it. And listen, I don't think Sirianni did anything for Jalen Hurts, but my God, man. Poor Justin Fields went out there for his first start, and he stood no chance of succeeding. First off, you got to come up with a better game plan knowing that Jason Peters and his old ass is going to try to block Myles Garrett, which is a mistake in itself to begin with.
Not to interrupt you, I absolutely love, I mean, Jason Peters, Hall of Famer. He was a phenomenal tackle in his prime, but I love how the current description of him is a turnstile. I just find
That is
that
what
so
he was.
funny. Like that's literally what he is. He cannot block. He can't move. He's like Big Ben at tackle. He just can't move.
Yeah, very. I mean, the offense just stopped. They didn't exist. They were Fields was 6 of 20 with 68 yards passing, no touchdowns.
Yep.
Like, man, you just gave this guy no chance. Because what is even worse, and this is why I want to kill Nagy, is the game plan looked terrible. It was terrible. The game plan, like that game plan was never going to work, and let alone with a rookie quarterback. You just let him get destroyed. Honestly, the only chance you save your job is if you make Justin Fields look good. This guy doesn't have any job security. He comes up with the worst game plan I've ever seen in a game. And for a rookie quarterback, nonetheless, just like you have a horrific offensive line. Jason Peters, I could have told you was going to get destroyed by Myles Garrett going into that game. And you didn't do anything to change the game plan to help him. Mm-hmm. You just leaving Myles Garrett on an island and Jason Peters and then just let him destroy Justin Fields. The game plan was just god awful. And and Sirianni had a bad game plan too, but it was a little bit better than I think Matt Nagy's was. Matt Nagy's was just, I'm going to let Justin Fields get killed. And that was the game plan. Yeah, there wasn't really much to that outside of that. That was really bad. He never gave him a chance to succeed. And really, really just a disgusting performance. Coming from a guy, I gave Sirianni a little bit of pass because, he's young. He's a new coach. Nagy's on the hottest of hot seats right now. You need to show something, buddy. And the best way to keep your job would to make Fields look good, and you're not doing that. So that was.
I feel like Nagy's been on the hot seat for like the last 5 years.
Oh yeah, he's not surviving this year. If Fields doesn't look really good, there's no way he's going to survive. There's just no way. And just considering that was his performance in a hot seat, that's bad. So Matt Nagy, second dud.
All right.
Moving on to our first dud, and I left the coaches alone on this one, so we went back to the players here.
Oh boy.
And this one's a tough one because this is a veteran guy, a Pro Bowl, All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, highly successful player in his career. And he's on a team that's ready to compete, a team that has actually got a window to win now. And it sure looks like he is what's holding them back. Mm-hmm. Obviously, their defense wasn't very strong and their best player got hurt, so they're missing them. But, man, Big Ben just he can't move. He can't move. It was comical, some of the stuff he was doing. And it's not even that he can't move. It's like, dude, the decision making isn't very good too. His first pick, the first pick of the game he threw, he's pump faking, completely doesn't see there. Like this is like 4 or 5 seconds into the play. Like you need to have a feel for pass rushers. He doesn't see a late blitzer coming in untouched and just crushes him. And when he crushes them, the ball pops up and it's an interception. Like the other thing you can't do. It's 4th and 10 at the end of the game, and you're doing a running back swing pass 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Like these are stuff that a veteran quarterback doesn't even do. The veteran quarterback doesn't pump fake when there's a defensive line coming unguarded to crush him, and he doesn't throw the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage on 4th and 10 at the end of the game. Yeah. Justin Fields could do that because he's a rookie, but Big Ben doesn't do that. You can't. He can't move. He can't move in the pocket. He can't even get out of the pocket. He's got nothing left. The offensive line's not very good, but I thought there was times they gave him plenty of time and he still couldn't find anyone or make a read or just get the ball out of his hand. Very, very disappointed. And I put him as the number 1 dud because this isn't a week-long disappointment. This is gonna hold them back all year. I don't see him getting younger. He's getting older every second I see him play. And this is going to hurt them. The Steelers aren't going to go anywhere if this is the Ben they're getting. And it hurts because they're ready to win now. So he's number 1 dud for Beg because I think he just torpedoed the season after a rough loss to a team, the Bengals, that they normally beat up on.
Yeah, he looks old.
Looks terrible. Terrible. That's kind of, I gave the coaches, I'm assuming, Nagy will do better. And Fields and Hurts, I let them go because they're younger and their coaches did nothing for them, but they could have easily been on this list too.
Yeah.
But all right, let me get a deep breath. I'm filled with anger and venom still from last night. So let me get to the good stuff. So on to the studs. And on the studs list, we got kind of the big names back. Plus, I think a first time for this position ever on the studs list. So let's get right into it. This guy is MVP candidate pretty much as soon as he came into. This year he was the favorite. I think going into the season. Okay. Started off a little slow as the team did, but they came back and righted the ship pretty beautifully. They were the highest scoring team this week. And they did it against a defense that a lot of us thought was a lot more respectable than what it's looked like so far. Went 32 for 43 with 358 yards, 4 touchdowns. Gotta love 4 touchdowns to go along with a rushing touchdown. So anytime you're scoring 5 touchdowns in a game, I can pretty much guarantee you'll get on my studs list at some point. So he looked easy doing it. He was slinging the ball all over the place. So we're going to go with Josh Allen as our first stud.
Okay. Yeah, they looked nice. They're as back-to-back weeks, they put up big numbers. So
yeah, I was very, very impressive outing. I mean, any doubt? I know Fleury, our resident, loser Steelers fan, was giving me so much crap going into the games yesterday because we ranked the Bills over the Steelers. And what did I say last week? It was because you know what? The Bills, I always thought were a better team than the Steelers. They did lose them, but I thought that was more of a fluke. And I've always thought the Bills are the better team. And now look, we've already corrected ourselves on that loss to the Steelers because the Steelers embarrassed themselves to the Bengals and the Bills just went out and smashed the football team. So Josh Allen's our first stud, our third stud. Moving on to another quarterback, another veteran quarterback that had a little bit of MVP buzz coming into the season as well.
Okay.
I think I honestly say he's got to say had the biggest win of the week. I mean, you could say Dallas maybe because it's division rival, but when you talk about contenders for the Super Bowl and the NFC, I think we saw the power shift from a favorite in the defending champion Buccaneers to the new upstart, new face Rams, and after coming off a big win. And a lot of what made the difference, it seems like, in this Rams team from last year and the years prior is the new quarterback they brought in. And Matthew Stafford had one hell of a game, and that's why he's my second stud. It was a huge win. I mean, he put up 27-38, 343 yards with 4 touchdowns. Like that's what you're going to need. When you're going to go against the Buccaneers, you're going to have to score some points. And he did exactly that. And he was slinging it. He looked really good. The deep ball looked good. He hit Jackson on a big touchdown. He could have probably had Jackson for 2 more deep touchdowns, but it was a little off on the touch, but looked really, really good. Huge win to put the Buccaneers on notice. I mean, last week we did to Wiz section, and you were asking me if the Buccaneers were going to undefeated. And now you don't even think that they're going to come out of the NFC with the way the Rams look good. I'm not counting out the Buccaneers, but their defense is showing a lot of holes in a couple of weeks, and the Rams showed that they can go firepower, shoot out with the Buccaneers whenever they want. So Matthew Stafford, my second stud. My first stud, and I'm not going to lie, this was a little out there, but, I looked at the scenario and the situation, and, I was just talking about how Matthew Stafford had a huge win, and, you could even say the Bills had a huge win with the loss early in the season, but now they've had 2 dominant wins, and I think we all realize the Bills are as good as we thought they were coming into the year.
Yeah.
But, this team had a huge win too. In the aspect, if they lost this game, that would have hurt because they would have been a massive upset with a team that made the game a lot closer than they expected it to. Mm-hmm. And then my man came back from a big mistake, big missed opportunity earlier in the game and something he doesn't normally do. And later on to then capitalize, to then whenever you win a game, you have the last second game winning play and you set an NFL record doing it and almost break a natural, human, just physical feat. 66-yard field goal to win the game, to save a very important win. Because, man, if the Ravens lost to the Lions, I guarantee everyone forgets that they just beat the Chiefs the week before.
Oh, yeah.
And the way he did, he came off from missing that field goal earlier in the game, which is just out of character for him. And then the comeback, 66 yards. That's 3 yards longer than the NFL record. That is a boot. And to do it with no time left to win the game, you got to give him credit for it. It was a beautiful shot. He could have probably made it from 70, honestly, how good that kick was. Well, I mean, it bounced off the crossbar, so maybe he got lucky. Yeah. But still, the fact that he got to the crossbar, it was impressive. So Justin Tucker, I know my kickers never get any love on my studs list, but you set an NFL record on a game-winning play, I'll give it to you. You deserve it. So we had some impressive quarterback performances, but you got to give the guy who set the NFL record the nod because you don't see it very often.
That's true. He did say after the game that he was practicing in pregame, from 65, and he wasn't hitting it. He kept missing, and then when he took the 66-yarder, he got like just enough to hit the bottom crossbar and bounce.
That was, I mean, he come off a miss too. I think it was a 49-yarder he missed earlier in the game.
Yeah,
just way to right your wrongs, immediately. And Justin Tucker's guy, if you see him miss a field goal, you're almost more confident that he's going to hit the game winner.
Not a bad idea.
So those are my studs and duds. Obviously, it's completely polar opposites. We got two teams going the right way. We got massive kicks, setting records, and then we have two loser performances by coach and quarterback, and then just a veteran depreciating in our eyes to go along with the duds.
All right. It's time for our segment, Too Much Whiz. We're back again.
I love it.
Back again. Are you ready, Tim?
I want to cut in real fast. I mean, just because I'm in a foul bad mood, and I basically treat this as a therapy session.
Okay.
Just a little update. The Phillies are still losing 2-0 in the bottom of the eighth as we're recording this. So that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see is the Cowboys blow out the Eagles on national TV. Then the Phillies lose a game they absolutely need to get in the playoffs with their ace going. So yeah, things are going well.
And then the Monday morning we had the Sixers media event, and plenty of chaos came out of that too. So.
Listen. There's not much to be happy for right now, but go on to your too much whiz. I don't mean to cut you off with bad news.
All right. Well, so we're gonna start off like usual. I got three scenarios for you. So the first one, too much whiz. The NFC West standings as they are now is how it will finish at the end of the season. So right now, Rams are in first, Cardinals are in second, the Niners are in third, and the Seahawks are in last place. Is that how it's going to finish at week 17?
I mean, you're asking me, and I predicted the Seahawks to come in last in this division going into the season, and I was high on the Cardinals and the Rams. I think this is how it's going to finish. I think the Rams are the team to beat in the NFC right now to knock out the Buccaneers. I think the Cardinals are legit. I think they're going to fight it out all year. The Niners, we said this on the Packers game. They impressed me in that loss. That was a tough. Everyone kills them, but they were 30 seconds and Aaron Rodgers away because no one else besides Aaron Rodgers, like you said, 3 quarterbacks going to do that from winning that tough game. I do think they're all going to have winning records, but I do think that's how it's going to finish. I think the standings the way they are now.
Okay. I can respect that. All right. Moving on to our next one. Too much whiz. I mentioned earlier the rookie quarterbacks so far who are starting this year or who have played games. 1 in 10. Are all the rookies this season for quarterbacks going to be busts?
Well, I mean, busts. I don't think any of them are going to really end up with. I don't think any of them are getting the playoffs. I think most of them are going to, a losing record. I think bust is a tough term for any of them, but I'm going to say no because I think Mac Jones is going to show enough with the Patriots. I think he has already to make him think that he is a franchise quarterback. Okay. I know Lawrence has thrown 1 million interceptions, but watching those games, I do see him make plays that are impressive. He does have impressive plays to go along with it. Because, even a couple of games now, he's had 3 touchdowns, but he also has 2 picks to go along with it. So, yeah, he hasn't looked great, but I've seen plays by Trevor Lawrence that made me think like, okay, yeah, that's Trevor Lawrence that I know. So I'm going to say too much whiz. I don't think that's true. I'm not buying into it. I think Mac Jones, Lawrence show you enough. I mean, Lance scored another touchdown on Sunday night. I think he's going to stay in his minor role unless Jimmy G gets hurt.
Yeah.
Wilson, I think, is going to be rough all year. Fields probably, if Nagy keeps letting him go out there with horrific, game calling like that, then he stands no chance of succeeding. But ultimately, I think you're going to see enough positives from Lawrence and Lance and Mac Jones in particular to be, considered this year successful for them.
Okay, fair enough. And my last one, kind of bittersweet, but too much whiz. Is Jalen Hurts going to start at least 10 games this year for the Eagles?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
I know this is a bad performance. I mean, sure, you want to get everyone wild up and everything. I think we have a better chance of winning if you put maybe Flacco out there or, Minshew.
I don't know.
Maybe not, but I think just some of the stuff with Hurts, like obviously I've killed his arm talent a lot. Some of this is experience though. Some of this is going to get into the system and everything. He's going to get better at looking people off, looking the secondary off. That's going to come with time. He's going to get enough games to show that he can get better in that aspect. But right now, some of the stuff is just he doesn't have experience in doing it. And it shows. That's the only reason why I say, maybe putting a veteran like Flacco in there, you probably win more games. But I also think the Eagles aren't in a position to really take away snaps away from Hurts to compete for what? This team has so many problems. I didn't see anything from this team in any area outside of quarterback that made me think we're ready to compete for anything.
All right.
So yeah, you give him this year.
Yeah, I think unless he just is like really, really bad, I think he'll start all the games this season. So
yeah, I think so too. You need to see it because listen, if they stink, they stink. Then you got 3 first-round picks hopefully next year. The Dolphins don't look very good. You could be looking at 2 top 10 picks and then maybe a third first-round pick if the Wentz thing works out. Yeah. So you need to see that before you start using those resources. So I'm going to say too much whiz.
All right, fair enough. And that'll wrap it for the too much whiz. That was a quickie. Not too much was going on this weekend, so it was a.
I got to say, I was thinking because I like this new segment, and I did think it played out pretty well from the questions you asked me last week too. Because you mentioned Carr as the MVP, and he looked good and pulling out a win at the end. Good teams win games like that. You asked me with the Bucs going undefeated, and then they lost right away. Yeah. And it went to what I was saying, man. Is I think the Rams had that game scheduled since the beginning of the season, and I know it's Tom Brady, and he's always prepared. Yeah. Tom Brady's always prepared, but you'd be lying to me if you tell me Tom Brady's not thinking about this matchup coming up on Sunday night and going back to.
Oh, he's gonna put 50 on the Patriots.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I kind of thought it for the Patriots too. Even the Belichick preaches, don't get ahead of yourself week to week. I took the Saints on the money line, and that worked out well. And I kind of thought, Mac Jones is having a welcome to NFL week, which he did. And then I thought maybe the Patriots get looking in the next week. It's such a big matchup. I just don't see how they can't, even though you got 2 guys that are always prepared and professionals, I just don't see how they can't.
All right. Well, before we get to our picks for week 4, we're going to do our power rankings, our top 10 power rankings. So a little bit of change. The 3-0 Panthers sneak in at the 10th spot, kick the Seahawks out. Packers move up 1 spot to number 9 after a strong win. Comeback win, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Browns and the Ravens remain at 8 and 7. Both won their games, took care of business. Chiefs dropped quite a lot to 6, but it's probably the highest ranking 1-2 record team we've ever had in our power rankings.
That's true. That's the benefit of being the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still a scary team.
Raiders, they're going to remind us. Yeah, they're going to remind everyone how scary they are.
Yeah. Raiders 3-0. We have them at number 5. They've looked pretty good. Bills, like we said, they had that one blunder week 1, just like the Packers did, and then they showed it everyone last 2 weeks that they are for real. They're number 4 right now.
Yeah, they're just cooking. 70. They have, I believe, 76 points to the last 2 games against pretty solid defenses. I didn't think the Dolphins or the Washington were bad defense coming into it. So, I would be scared if I was anyone else in the AFC. The Bills look like they're ready to go.
Yeah. Cardinals get a slight edge over the Bills because they're 3-0. They're at number 3. They're tied with the Buccaneers for most points forced at 103 through 3 weeks.
They've looked good. I've liked that offense a lot. Kyler looks like he's developing well, and their playmakers are making plays.
I mean, he still makes a couple bad throws, but I mean, it's expected of a mobile quarterback at this point. So
yeah, he's still young, so he'll be fine. And you know what? He's got the advantage that he's got a cannon for an arm that he can just get the ball out. So that helps to correct those mistakes.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have the Bucs were number 1, but they lost, so they slide to number 2, and our new number 1 Kings, the Los Angeles Rams. I'm in a weird spot with the Rams where they've kind of beat up on the Eagles the last few seasons, and I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to like them, but I'm a big Stafford guy, and Deshaun's on the team, and I love Jalen Ramsey, so part of me really wants to root for them, but. Yeah, they're clearly the best team in the league right now.
I'll say what's scary about them is, man, that defense is menacing. I saw I think it was on one of the fumbles Brady had, or maybe it was an interception. It was one of the turnovers. I saw Aaron Donald as an edge rusher just run right through Gronk, who's probably the best blocking tight end in the league. He's not enough to tackle, but he's a very good blocker. Mm-hmm. Aaron Donald was amazing, probably the best player in football, and I'm seeing him get better. Now I'm seeing him edge rush. You got to be kidding me. The versatility that Donald and Ramsey are showing this year is a nightmare for what the Rams defense can be, because they're all over the place and they're making plays. And, it's going to be tough. That defense looks legit.
Yeah, and that game, Gronk was just getting beat up. Like he was getting smacked around, big hits.
Oh yeah, but that's Gronk's career, man. Gronk was the guy you knew why he was retiring. That's what because look, he's huge. Brady loves going to him. He has his entire career, and people tee off on him because he's Gronk. He's going to get the ball in those dirty situations over the middle, and he's going to have to be asked to block. The guy gets worked. But I think he even got hurt that game. I don't know if he ever came back, but it's a shame because he looked really good the last couple of weeks. But the Rams just were too much. Very impressive win. They deserve to be number one.
True. All right. Moving on to our picks. So starting off with the Thursday night game is Jaguars and the Bengals. Wow, that is something. Jaguars are still figuring themselves out. They just traded away C.J. Henderson, a former number 5 overall pick cornerback, to the Panthers for a bag of popcorn. So that's interesting. Yeah. I would have taken him.
That trade didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like, he has a top 10 pick from 2 years ago.
Classic Jaguars. They're just taking defenders in the first round and then trading them away for so much less.
I'm confused on, like, if you're CJ Henderson, this is a great trade for you. If you're the Panthers, who JC Horn just got hurt, you're not going to replace JC Horn with, much in the middle of the season. Yeah. So to replace it with a guy that was a top 10 pick just 2 years ago, just very odd. For the Jaguars, why do you make this move? Like, you're on a bad team. CJ Henderson's a guy that I feel like I'd want to play as much as possible, see if he has something. Yeah. I feel like it's tough to evaluate a guy on a horrible team for the first 2 years of his career and to give up on him. So, very, very questionable move for the Jaguars. The Bengals impressed me a lot last week. Jamar Chase just looks like a nightmare. I mean, Penei Sewell's played really well, and maybe the Bengals should have took an offensive lineman, but Jamar Chase looks great. He looks like he's getting open without any blocking. Burrow doesn't need much time. So I think that the Bengals win this game. They continue to impress me offensively. The defense came up. They did enough what they needed to do to help the Bengals can't move, but I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get that into it. I'm taking the Bengals.
Fair enough. It's the Bengals to Jaguars. Can't say it deserved all that talk, but I go above and beyond for the people.
Apparently. Next game is the Titans versus the Jets. Titans.
I'm not going to take the Jets. That's just not going to
take the Jets any week.
So we can move on.
Lions versus the Bears. You know what? The Lions have been fighting hard. I'm going to give them their first win. I'm going to have them beat the Bears. Bears don't know what to fucking quarterback.
I'm disappointed that you did that because I also want to take the Lions. I mean, Dalton probably doesn't play. Fields' injury doesn't sound too bad that he shouldn't play. I think now he's just trying to get cute with it, saying Foles is actually in the mist. It's like, well, you're going to start a different quarterback for free, 3 games out of the 4. So I don't expect the game plan. I expect it to be maybe a little better. Who the hell knows? It's Matt Nagy, but I'm going to say the Lions win. They impress me. They keep fighting, and the Bears have done nothing to impress me.
Next game, Colts and the Dolphins. I got to think the Colts get a win here. I can't imagine them going 0-4. Their team is too talented.
Yeah, I mean, they're experiencing some injuries, though. Nelson just got hurt. Wentz is a walking injury.
It's a cast.
But the Dolphins are a team I also thought would, they need to pick up a win somewhere.
Their defense is very disappointing this year.
Very disappointing.
I thought they were going to have a top defense, and they've not performed well.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'd like to go against you, but I don't see the Dolphins winning this game. So I'm going to go Colts. Jacoby Brissett's not going to give you that much.
Should be a good one. Browns and the Vikings. I had the Browns in my AFC Championship game, so I got to ride that wave. I'll take the Browns.
I am single-handedly helping the Minnesota Viking viewership out by preaching that they are must-see TV anytime they play. I think this is a game they could win. So I'm going to go Vikings. Dalvin Cook's probably back. The defense, we'll see what happens. That line's not great. Myles Garrett is going to eat, if they can't block him. But The Vikings can put up some points, and if it turns into a shootout, we know the Browns don't really like pushing the ball downfield that much. They like to run and set up their offense that way. But I think Cousins and the Vikings are going to put up some points.
True. All right. Next game we have is Washington versus the Falcons. Falcons aren't very good this year. Washington is strangely worse than I thought they were going to be so far. But I think they'll get it together and they'll beat the Falcons. So I'll take Washington.
Yeah, the Falcons stink. The Washington's been very disappointing, but I saw that Falcons offensive line just look miserable against the Eagles. So it makes me think that Washington defense line might give them fits too. So I'll take Washington. They really need to come back and get a win here after they got embarrassed by the Bills.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bills, they play the Texans. No thought about this.
Oh God, this. So what did I say there? They had 71 points scored through the last two games. I would assume they're going to hit over 100 over the last three games. So yeah.
Well, they have 94 points through three games. So
yeah, but these last two in particular, they've been really putting them up there. So yeah, I'm going to go Bills. I think they keep cruising.
Next game, Giants and the Saints. I actually considered taking the Giants in an upset, but Saints are at home and their defense is pretty good last week. So I'll go Saints.
Yeah, the Giants stink. They're one of the teams that just hasn't done anything positive this entire season so far. So I have nothing to actually say in a positive way for the Giants. So yeah, we're gonna take the Giants losing there. Why am I blanking? You just said the name. The Saints. That's what it was. I'll take the Saints.
Game of the week: Chiefs versus the Eagles.
Oh my God, we're gonna get embarrassed on national TV again.
No, I'm kidding. It's a 1:00 game.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, the Chiefs are gonna manhandle us. They just lost 2 games in a row. I don't think this is gonna be close.
Now, I'm picking the Chiefs, and I don't think it's gonna be a good game. I think they're gonna get. I'll say like 35-20, but I would not be super shocked if somehow the Eagles pulled out a win. Like it would not.
I would be very shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked.
See,
I wouldn't be shocked. They have talent. They just need to figure it out, at least on offense. But
see, the outside chance that they win in a huge upset against the Chiefs kind of went out the window when the Chiefs lost the Chargers. The Chiefs aren't going to lose 3 games in a row.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That just won't happen.
It's not in their favor, but wouldn't shock
yeah, me. Andy's coming back to Philly. This is going to get ugly. And you know what? The Chiefs don't have a good defense. Dallas didn't have a good defense either. Hurts needs to show me he can score some points. He needs to show me he can make some plays because, it's only going to get harder from here. These are 2 of the weaker defenses you're playing on the schedule, and you laid an egg against the Cowboys. Give me something with the Chiefs. Make some plays.
Next, we have Panthers versus the Cowboys. Should actually be a pretty good game. I'm actually going to take the Cowboys here. I think they ride some momentum.
I am going to agree with you too, actually. I think that the Cowboys are feeling good after the win. The Panthers are 3-0. This is a game they can afford to drop. I worry if they can, if Darnold can outscore Dak. So, yeah, give me the Cowboys.
All right. Next game is the Seahawks versus the 49ers. I will go. I mean, Seahawks are 1-2. They got a rebound. I'll take the Seahawks.
All right. This is a flip 'em game for me, honestly. They're very evenly matched in my opinion. So if you go Seahawks, I'll take the Niners.
Okay. This should be one of the game of the weeks. Rams and the Cardinals. Which undefeated team is going to lose? I'll let you go first.
Where is it at? Arizona?
It's in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. You know what? I'm going to say that the Rams catch themselves a little hyped up from last week in that huge win against the Buccaneers. The Cardinals surprise them, and the Cardinals win this one.
Interesting.
Because you know what? The Buccaneers, I can guarantee you the Rams came in with they had this game circled and everything. I think the Cardinals have the same mentality with this game and the Rams. And they probably saw what they did against the Buccaneers. It's undefeated versus undefeated. I think the Cardinals win this game.
Okay. I think it's going to go exactly like the Buccaneers-Rams game went. And the Rams will pull away at the end and win by like 10. So I'm taking the Rams.
I do think it's going to be a shootout, but I think I have more confidence in the Cardinals defense than I think I do in the Buccaneers defense right now. The pass defense of the Buccaneers is really shaky throughout the season. So, hopefully maybe the Cardinals can hold them a little bit better than Tampa Bay did.
We have 2 more 4:00 games. Steelers and Big Ben take on Aaron Rodgers, Old Man Face, and the Packers.
Oh, it's a rematch from Super Bowl whenever they played.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Positive. Do you think I'm going to spew lies up here? No, that's
it would have been the one
me.
that Rodgers won then.
Correct.
They played the Steelers?
They did.
I don't remember that.
Well, see, I know all. I don't want to let my fans down.
It couldn't have been a good game then. I don't remember.
I think it was a pretty good game. Rodgers won at the end, if I'm certain. It was a while ago, but I do remember being a pretty solid Super Bowl.
That's kind of what I mean. I know Rodgers won the Super Bowl, but it feels like it was ages ago.
Well, I mean, I want to say it was probably 10 years ago at least.
Really?
2010 season. It was February 6, 2011, 31-25. It was a good game.
Was that so? Wait, the Steelers were in back-to-back Super Bowls then?
The Steelers
they played the didn't they play the Cardinals in 09? It might have been 08.
I think it might have been 08 as well.
That game was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, that I think that was the one before, if I'm correct. So yeah, maybe they were back to back.
Interesting.
You got me on that one. I'm not 100 now because the one before that was the Colts versus the Saints.
Oh, gotcha.
So you know what? I actually think the Steelers versus Cardinals was 2 years after that.
Oh, I think it was before. I think.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't remember.
Because I remember, no, it had to have been before. Because I'm pretty sure Madden 10, the cover athletes were Fitzgerald and Polamalu. So that would have had to have been that would have been after the Super Bowl. Because why else would those two specifically be on the cover?
You're probably right about that. Yeah. Steelers played the Cardinals in the 2008 season. They played in the 2009 Super Bowl. Yeah. Okay. So it's 2 years before.
Gotcha. So maybe it was Madden 09. Whatever. Who cares? Anyway,
we got completely off topic there. What did that have to do with anything we were just talking about?
Steelers versus Packers. I'm taking the Packers. I don't like Big Ben and the Steelers right now. So
yeah, the Packers look like they're in a good spot. They look to be kicking on all gears. I don't know. I haven't heard an update on TJ Watt, but if he's not playing, that defense does not look like the same. So I'm going to say the Packers win this one.
Alrighty. This one, we got Ravens versus the Broncos, and it's in Mile High Stadium in Denver. I'm gonna take Denver with the upset over Baltimore. Broncos go 4-0.
I like it. I like your thinking. The Ravens, they look solid so far. I think the Broncos defense is strong, but I'm concerned about their offense, and with the injuries they've already sustained to the wide receivers, I think it might be hard for Teddy to keep up with Lamar. So I'm going to take the Ravens. Okay. I expect a big rushing game from Lamar Jackson because that secondary for Denver is very strong and the pass rush is going to be tight. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a lot of designed runs for him to get out of the pocket and just make plays and roll around.
I mean, they do every week.
That's true, but that is true. I'll give you that. But I do expect a healthy dose of Lamar Jackson on the ground.
Fair. Yeah, that's I usually try to sprinkle in one like solid upset. That'll be mine. Sunday night game, Tom Brady returns to New England or Boston, Gillette Stadium against his old team, the New England Patriots. So I'm not even gonna think twice. Buccaneers by a mile.
Yeah, I honestly think that like if Tom Brady was to lose this game, this would probably hurt him more than like losing a Super Bowl. Like I think this is a very important game for him. I think he's going to treat this game very importantly. And I just, you know what? I see Mac Jones maybe having another welcome to the NFL kind of week against that Buccaneers pass rush.
Yeah, could see it.
Yeah, give me the Bucs.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be close.
It'll be interesting, though. It'll be interesting to see what Bill does because he knows Tom Brady better than anyone else, but Tom knows Bill's defense better than anyone else. It'll be interesting to see that matchup.
Yeah. So for most of these, I knew who I wanted to pick within about 2 seconds. Monday night game is the Raiders at the Chargers, and I'm really stumped. I don't know who I want to take.
You know what? I was very impressed with that defense in the Chargers last week. Joey Bosa was a nightmare. I think I heard Derwin James got hurt. I never heard an update on him.
Oh, not again.
But you know who makes plays in that secondary too? Asante Samuel Jr. looks pretty good so far.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders, I think they're a good team. I don't know if they're 4-0 good, so I think the Chargers win this one.
I think I know enough about the Raiders the last few years to know that they are full of surprises and that there's no way they're just going to keep winning games. They're going to drop eventually. So I think this will be the time. So I think I'll go Chargers as well. Also, Chargers beat the Chiefs, so they got to be feeling good. So
yeah, well, I mean, the Raiders 3-0, so I'm sure they're feeling good too. Derwin James did separate his shoulder, but apparently he did end up coming back in the game. And I mean, Bosa was everywhere. Derwin, it's not a coincidence that I think the Chargers, what are they, 2-1 right now?
Yeah.
And that defense has looked pretty good through the first couple of games. Like you said, they held Dallas to 20 points. You held Patrick Mahomes to 24. I've been impressed with our defense so far. I think that they're going to give the Raiders and Derek Carr some fits, and we'll see. But I'm going to take the Chargers.
All right, fair enough. Then that wraps up the week 4 picks. I will say last week, Tim, you went 9-7 in your picks. I went 11-5. Which means we are now tied 28-20. And this is where we'll turn around and I will start cruising ahead of you. So
I'm going to keep that in mind when I crush you.
Okay. All right. Any final thoughts heading into week 4?
I'm disgusted by this performance on Monday night. I mean, I'm going to spend the rest of the week thinking about it. A lot of things to be concerned with. We'll see what happens Sunday. I really think we're in for a rough day.
I just want to see. To be honest, I really don't care if they win or lose because I'm expecting them to lose. But I just want to see improvements on, if nothing else, discipline. No more stupid penalties. No more jumping off sides and holding every fucking play and ineligible. How many ineligible man down the field did we have? Like that's
so many. I think that comes down to game plan, and Hurts is not understanding what he needs to do. So that's the stuff that I'm hoping they can fix and clean up. The arm strength, I worry about that. Yeah, the arm strength I worry about, but that's stuff I think you can work on. You need to run the ball. But yeah, I still think that Andy is going to run up the score.
We'll see.
Pretty happily. Yeah, so we'll see. It's been a pleasure. This week of football sucked.
Well, actually, while I have you, it's top of the 9th. Phillies are 1 out with bases loaded.
Are they?
They are.
You know what? They've won some of these games when it's in close like that.
Well, Didi's up at the plate, so I just hope he doesn't hit into a double because that would be tragic. But
how many outs did you say there was?
1 out, bases loaded, 1-1 count. Top of the 9th.
I really need this one. And give me something after the Cowboys blow us out. And I'm not looking forward to what the Chiefs are going to do to us. I just let the Phillies get in the playoffs.
Wait, that should get a runner on though. Didi hit it out to the outfield. And right. Bryce is in. 2-1 game, 2 outs.
It's something.
All right. Well, they're down to the last out of the game, so this is I wonder who's after Didi?
Probably Galvez, Snap, Marshawn, whoever their utility guy is.
They won't even show it on the TV. Now I'm wondering.
It'd be nice because obviously the Phillies were pretty rough 2 weeks ago on week 1 of the NFL season when they really hurt their chances of going to the playoffs when they were struggling with like the Diamondbacks. And then the Eagles smacked the Falcons. So everyone in Philadelphia just got distracted from the fact that the Phillies are blowing their playoff opportunity.
Yeah.
The Eagles have us all pissed off right now. So if the Phillies could get into the playoffs this week, it would really help me get over the fact that the Eagles suck and are probably going to get smacked 2 weeks in a row.
All will be forgiven.
I don't know about that, but nothing will be forgiven, but I'll be distracted from them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Freddie Gals is at the plate with the 1-0 count.
Still, man, you got one run on the whole game. There's plenty of runners in scoring position all game for them. Wheeler gave you a good game. You only gave up 2 runs. You got to win these games.
Yeah, another bad pitch by their pitcher. 2-0 count now. Both were in the ground.
Oh, I like that. For the other team. Galvis needs to come up big here, man. We've had these cardiac moments work out for us. Bombs up in the on deck circle.
Boom.
Bomb. Bomb hips bombs.
Boom, bomba. God, if who was that? McCutcheon. If he would have gotten out there for trying to almost steal, that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's almost embarrassing for the pitcher. Like, what do you keeping the guy on one?
He's gonna swing here. Oh, wow, ball 3. That was high.
He's a little wild. You walk the bases? Walk the bases loaded?
Ball comes up, hits a grand slam, walk off.
I'll take that.
3-0 count. Freddie Galvis at the plate. Oh, you got to swing at that. That was down the fucking money line.
He had all intentions of walking.
Yeah, I know. He might not.
I mean,
I
don't know if you're gonna get.
I don't like that.
I don't think you're getting anything better than that.
No, yeah, I think he wasn't going to swing at all, no matter what the pitch was. He'll probably swing here. Yep. Oh, great. 3-2 count.
Oh, come on, man.
I mean, they can if they take 2 of 3, it's better than nothing, but a sweep is ideal because they're 2.5 back.
Yeah, of course you need to sweep. If you want to get in the playoffs, you need to sweep pretty much.
Yeah.
They've left so many guys, so many runners in scoring position all game. It's just, ugh.
All right, here comes the pitch. Oh, another foul. That one, he should have let that one go. That was a ball. Freddie Galvis.
They are 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position this game. That's never going to work.
That's par for course for the entire season.
Yeah, that's true.
If they could just get more consistency with their batting and actual, bullpen, it'd be better. Because Harper was having he's had an MVP second half. So
yeah, I mean, other guys are just not giving anything. Didi's been brutal.
I don't see Didi coming back.
Well, Real Muto went 0 for 4 today. Segura went 1 for 4. Bryce was 0 for 3. Really let you down. And they've left.
Oh my God, he struck out.
Yeah, there you go. That's par for the course.
Jesus.
I was just going to say they've left 11 runners in scoring position, but I guess now we're at 13 after that strikeout. Pathetic. That's that's a shame.
We treat the listeners to our pain as Phillies fans as well. So
it just never ends. It never ends. It never ends. It's just great. Cowboys blow the Eagles out on national TV, and then I get to wait until the Braves series starts off and we lose. Oh, God.
Ben Simmons is out partying in LA while his team is practicing.
I don't care about Ben Simmons. I need him off this team. And it's probably going to get ugly. He's just going to be a headache for them for the rest of the season. But
yeah, he's petty.
He's such a loser. Such a child.
But all right.
Such a child.
On to NFL Week 4, because the NFL is the most entertaining sport. And that's the only one we can, really hope for at this point. So
we'll do it again next week.
Hopefully with a not so bad loss.
We'll see.
All right.
Pleasure as always.
Peace out.
Peace.